মোটামুটি হয়ে গেছে সবকটা।
Have you brought the notes or any questions that may be discussed in the class?
স্যার
Tell me, who is the writer of the prose piece, The Eyes Habit?
স্যার ও হেনরি যতদূর
No,
আমার মনে
no.
হচ্ছে।
The Eyes Habit is written by Ruskin Bond.
রাস্কিন মনে আছে পড়ে গেছে।
Ruskin Bond. Do you remember the storyline of this prose piece, The Eyes Habit, of the story? Don't you remember anything about the text?
অল্প অল্প মনে আছে।
Tell, and I shall add the clue so that you may remember it. How many times have you read this prose piece or story?
স্যার একবারই পড়েছি।
One time reading is not the solution of this problem. This is the fact. You are quite aged. You are a senior student. You are going to pass the school level. So how do you think that you should read a story one time and you will remember all the things? So therein lies the problem. You are cheating yourself, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So there is 99.9% chance that there will be HS exam. But I think in your subconscious mind there is an idea that the exam may be avoided. Isn't it? Do you think from the core of your heart you are thinking that Corona will continue and you will not have to sit for the exam? Have you any idea?
খবর শুনেছি হবে।
Then what is your duty as a student?
স্যার যতটা সম্ভব এগিয়ে রাখা পড়াশোনাকে।
Revise your lessons. Let me revise you in this class the lesson The Eyes Habit. The writer is Ruskin Bond. Take the book from yourself or wherever the book is. I shall not give the thorough lesson, complete lesson, but I shall help you to remember the text or the subject matter. This is very helpful for you to face any type of question, MCQ, SAQ, or any other type of question that may occur. MCQ, SAQ is your main type. I had the train compartment to myself up to Rohana. That means I. Who is I referred to here?
Narrator.
Narrator. It may be Ruskin Bond or the storyteller. He was traveling in a train and there was a station named Rohana. He was only one up to that station. Rohana station পর্যন্ত তিনি একা ছিলেন. Then a woman passenger got into the train. And the story, the main theme of the story has been described here from that very point. The couple who saw her off were probably her parents. They seemed very anxious about her comfort, and the woman gave the girl detailed instructions as to where to keep her things, when not to lean out of window, and how to avoid speaking to strangers. That means the couple, do you know the meaning of the couple?
Yes, sir.
Couple মানে কি?
মানে ধরুন ওই বন্ধু, মানে স্বামী স্ত্রী
টাইপের নয়, the husband and wife are often called the couple. স্বামী স্ত্রী জোড়া. Couple actually means জোড়া. The couple were probably, the author or narrator has guessed that the two persons who came to see of the woman, girl, was probably her parents, and they instructed the girl about some aspect of journey. What are those aspects? About the comfort They are anxious about the comfort, how comfortably she will end the journey, and they also gave detailed instructions about some things. What are those things? But to keep her things, কোথায় জিনিস রাখবে, when not to lean out of windows, জানলা দিয়ে কখন সে মুখটাকে ঝুঁকিয়ে দেখবে না, and how to avoid speaking to strangers, এবং কেমনভাবে অজানা আগন্তুকের সঙ্গে সে কথা বলা এড়িয়ে যাবে. The couple instructed him to avoid speaking with the strangers, not to lean out of the window, and to keep the things in right place so that they may not be theft or they may not be lost. জিনিসপত্র যাতে হারিয়ে না যায়, যাতে জানলা দিয়ে মুখ ঝুঁকে না দেখা হয়, এবং অচেনা ব্যক্তির সঙ্গে যেন কথা বলা না হয়, এই সম্পর্কে সতর্ক করে দিল. They called their goodbyes and the train pulled out of the window. As I was totally blind at that time, my eyes sensitive only to light and darkness, I was unable to tell what the girl looked like, but I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. This is the second paragraph of a prose piece. They called their goodbyes, that means the couple who came to give farewell or send off, they returned, and the train began to run. And at that very stage of his life, the narrator or the author was totally blind, and he says that he was only sensitive to light and darkness, and so the narrator could not know the beauty or the physical appearance of the girl. But one thing the narrator has fully mentioned, that he could certainly know that the girl wore slippers. Wore means wear. Wore is the past form of wear, and the girl wore slippers. How did he come to know? From the sound of the slippers. The narrator was very much conscious about the sound of the girl's slipper, and from that he could understand that the girl wore slippers, though he did not come to know about the appearance or beauty or physical appearance of the girl. মেয়েটা যেহেতু, লেখক যেহেতু অন্ধ ছিলেন, সেই জন্য দেখতে কেমন ছিল বুঝতে পারেননি, কিন্তু চটি পড়েছিল সেটা তিনি বুঝতে পেরেছেন. It would take me some time to discover something about her looks, and perhaps I never would, but I liked the sound of her voice and even the sound of her slippers. This is the main word that have been mentioned. The narrator thought that her looks, that means her appearance, could be gauged by him after some time, or it may happen that he would not be able to understand the girl's appearance. But I liked the sound of her voice. Whenever the girl spoke, he could know, he could appreciate it, enjoyed the voice or sweet voice of the girl, and he also liked the sound of her slippers. চটির শব্দ এবং কণ্ঠস্বর দুটোই তার পছন্দ হয়েছিল. Are you going all the way to Dera? I asked. This is the first question the narrator asked the girl. Note that the girl herself did not speak first. It was the narrator asked questions to the girl. And what are the questions? Are you going all the way to Dera? পুরো রাস্তা, Dera means Dehradun. You know, a very important place of North India, and Dehradun. Dehra means Dehra means Dehradun. Dehradun পর্যন্ত পুরো রাস্তাতে যাচ্ছ বা যাচ্ছেন? I must have been sitting in a dark corner because my voice startled her. As the narrator first began to speak, her voice, her question startled the girl. Startled means give some sort of expression that revealed the any other's appearance, যেটাকে আমরা চমকে ওঠা বলি। স্টার্টেল মানে এমন কিছু জেস্চার করে যাতে তার একটা এক্সাইটমেন্ট বা তার আনএক্সপেক্টেড সামথিং ফিলিং হয়। She gave a little exclamation and said, I didn't know anyone else was here. After listening to the question or hearing the question, the girl said that he did not know that someone else was in that compartment. অন্য কেউ আছে কিনা সেটা বুঝতে পারেন। Well, it often happens that people with good eyesight fail to see what is right in front of him. Try to understand the meaning of this sentence. It often happens that people with good eyesight, ভালো দৃষ্টিশক্তি সম্পন্ন লোকেরা অনেক সময় চোখের সামনে যা আছে তা দেখতে পায় না। It sometimes happens that people with good eyesight cannot see what is in front of him because of the, no doubt, because of the lack of interest or maybe lack of the minute observation, because his mind, he was looking at that thing but mind or his consciousness were somewhere else, অন্য কোথাও তার চেতনাটা ছিল, সে দেখতে পায় না। With this sentence the author wants to say that the girl was looking at him but he did not actually noticed him. They have too much to take in, I suppose, whereas people who cannot see or see very little have to take in only the essentials, whatever registers most tellingly on their remaining senses. They have too much to take in, I suppose. That means it should be admitted. Whereas people who cannot see or see very little have to take in the only essentials. Here the narrator's comment is very important. He says that people who cannot see or see very little, that means to the blind person or the half blind person, the most essential things is most important. They don't see everything because they have the lack of eyesight, and so they pay attention to the most important thing, whatever registers most tellingly on their remaining sense. Other things, there may be other things, but his eyesight or her eyesight may not be registered very effectively to his sense organs or to his consciousness. কানারা অল্প দেখে, কানারা দেখতে পায় না, অর্ধ কানারা অল্প দেখে, কিন্তু তারা কানার লোকেরা যেটা অনুভব করে দ্যাট ইজ ভেরি এফেক্টিভ। So it is often found that blind persons are crossing road with the help of just one stick. They have the consciousness or sensitiveness stronger than the normal people. ঠিক আছে, সেটা এখন লেখক বলছে যে it may I was present in the compartment, yet the girl passenger says that he was not aware of the presence of any other person in the compartment. The author did not know that the girl, the author had the idea that the girl could see him, but actually the secret of this story is that the girl passenger who just boarded the train was equally blind. The author did not know it. This is the twist of this story. Okay, Anjan, Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this discussion helping you to some extent?
Yes,
আলোচনা
sir.
কিছু লাভ হচ্ছে তো?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I didn't see you either, I said, but I heard you coming. The narrator said that I didn't see you either. That is, he was not noticeable by him. I heard you coming. I heard that. How did he hear to come in? How did he hear that the girl was coming in? এটা অলরেডি আলোচনা করেছি। কিভাবে বুঝলো যে আসছে মহিলাটি?
ছুটি পরে এসছে।
না, কি করে বুঝলো? বিকজ অফ দি সাউন্ড অফ হার
Sound.
স্লিপার্স। These are the understanding of the text. I wondered if I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind. The narrator was very much curious, or he was in the mood of asking himself, would it be possible for him to hide his blindness? If I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind, that means the author wanted to hide or conceal his blindness from the girl passenger. So he has made such remark. Provided I keep to my seat, I thought it should not be too difficult. The author or narrator said that if he didn't move from his seat, he could easily hide his blindness. Only moving from that seat or to go to the girl passenger may reveal that he was blind. As the narrator wanted to hide his blindness, he decided not to move from his seat. একজন লোক যদি অন্ধ হয়, চোখে দেখতে না পায়, তার চোখ যদি খোলা থাকে, it is very hard for someone to know whether he was watching or not. The girl said, I was getting off at Saharanpur. Underline the word Saharanpur. My aunt is meeting me there. That was the destination of the girl passenger. Saharanpur. Remember it? The girl passenger boarded the train at Rohana and his destination was Saharanpur. Who will receive her at that station? My aunt. My aunt is meeting me there. Then I had better not get too familiar, I replied. The narrator replied that as you will get down at Saharanpur, then it would be better not to mix with you to a great extent. Ants are usually formidable creatures. Underline this sentence, very dangerous sentence. The narrator has remarked that ants are very formidable creatures. They are very dangerous. They create some sort of troubles to others. Kakima gulo. In your life you will also find that কাকিমা, পিসিমা, মাসিমা এরা একটু ডেঞ্জারাস হয়, মেয়েদের ক্ষেত্রে বেশি। They keep strong vigil on them, the girl students, because it may be dangerous for them if they are caught by some young boys or their lovers, etc. I think you have understood what I want to say. বুঝতে পেরেছো তো নাকি?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
হ্যাঁ স্যার। Have you any girlfriend?
No.
No.
Sir.
Is it believable? এটা কি বিশ্বাসযোগ্য?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Thank you very much for information. তাহলে the narrator remarked that ants are very dangerous creatures. This is nothing but a exaggerated statement, but this is an observation on the part of the narrator and also of the author. Where are you going? She asked. The girl herself has expressed or revealed his destination, and now the girl herself has asked about the narrator's destination to Dera and then to Mussoorie. That means he will first go to Dera and then he will go to Mussoorie. Oh, how lucky you are! I wish I were going to Mussoorie. I love the hills, especially in October. That after hearing that the destination of the narrator is Dera and then to Mussoorie, the girl remarked that he was very lucky, because he was going to his place of liking. I wish I were going to Mussoorie. The girl actually wanted to visit Mussoorie, but he had not got the scope of going there. So she says that I love the hills. I love the hills, especially in October. According to the girl passenger, uh, October is the best time to go to hills like Mussoorie, and there was the good aspect of the hill have been mentioned here. What was those good aspect? Now, at that very time, the hills are covered with wild dahlias. Buno dahlia phule bhorti hoye jay. And then the sun is delicious. The sunshine is very enjoying. And at night you can sit in front of a log fire and drink a little brandy. During the period, you can enjoy the night at Mussoorie or such hilly places by sitting the log fire. There is the cold weather, and you could get extra heat by firing logs. Logs means kathar guri, remaining part of the trees, and it will be very enjoying if you drink some sort of wine like brandy there. Most of the tourists have gone, and the roads are quiet and almost deserted. The narrator has mentioned that in October most of the tourists leave the spot and there is total silence. Quiet means there is lack of noise, nirobata, and most deserted, and the place is most deserted. The tourist spot, if too much congested by the appearance of the travelers, etc., it doesn't become enjoying there. There is always the noise and hurry, and that doesn't make the tour enjoying. Yes, October is the best time. After mentioning some attractions of the hill of Mussoorie, the narrator has at last remarked that October is the best time for Mussoorie to visit. You should remember these ideas or these lines, because you may be given some questions from here. She was silent. I wondered if my words had touched her, or whether she thought me a romantic fool. Then I made a mistake. Underline this sentence. Then I made a mistake. She was silent. The girl was silent, after listening to the remark of the narrator about hilly areas in October at Mussoorie. I wondered if my words touched her heart, and whether she thought me a romantic fool. That means the narrator was curious to know if his words, that means what he said earlier about Mussoorie in October, touched her. That means whether she could understand, or she could enjoy the beauty of her speech, and whether she considered her as a romantic fool, because this was some extra words that the girl was told by the narrator. Romantic fool, অর্থাৎ প্রেমপূর্ণ বোকা. Sometimes the boys or the young persons make some extra utterances to attract or to impress others, and then they make some comments that are not may not be suitable, and that is not appreciated by the girl also. So the narrator had some doubt about this matter. He could not decide whether the girl liked the comments he made about Mussoorie or in October. Then, out of this confusion or curiosity, the narrator made a remark, made a mistake. What was the mistake he had made? Now, he had made a mistake by asking a question. What is it like outside? I asked. বাইরেটা কেমন দেখতে লাগছে? The narrator wanted to conceal or hide his blindness. In spite of that, he made this remark like a blind person. A blind person can see whatever is going on outside. And he himself wanted to hide his blindness. In spite of that, he made this remark like a blind person. So he had made this remark that I made a mistake. কি পয়েন্টটা বুঝতে পেরেছো?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
দিস ইজ এ ভেরি ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট পয়েন্ট। খুব কোশ্চেন আসে, আই মেড আ মিস্টেক। হ্যাঁ, মিস্টেক করলো কেন, কি কেমন করে মিস্টেকটা করলো, যে জিজ্ঞেস করছে বাইরেটা কেমন দেখতে। আর এইরকম প্রশ্ন তো নিজে সে অন্ধ যে দেখতে সেই করবে, কিন্তু লেখক চাইছে নিজের অন্ধত্বটাকে লুকাবে, সেই জন্য বলছে মিস্টেক করে ফেললাম। সি সিম টু ফাইন্ড নাথিং স্ট্রেঞ্জ ইন দিস কোশ্চেন, দো দি ন্যারেটর থট দ্যাট he had made a mistake, but the girl seemed to think nothing strange in this question. Had she noticed already that I could not see? This was the doubt in the narrator's mind, but her next question removed my doubts. Why don't you look out of the window? She asked. That means, had she noticed already, this was a doubt that whether the girl had noticed that he was blind but he could not see. So this was some sort of doubt, and this doubt was removed by the girl's question next. Why don't you look out of the window? That is, the girl suggested that you should look outside and see whether how was the outside. Let me do one thing. 1 minute. Anjan. তাহলে the narrator had some doubt that the girl could realize that he was blind, but actually nothing happened. I moved easily along the berth and felt for the window ledge. The window was open and I faced it, making a pretense of studying the landscape. I heard the panting of the engine, the rumble of the wheels, and in my mind's eye I could see telegraph posts passing by. As the girl suggested that he should look outside to watch the beauty or surroundings, then the narrator also did so. He looked through the window at the outside of the train. So for this he moved easily along the berth and felt for the window ledge. The window was open, and I faced it. That means the narrator looked outside through the open window, and he seemed to he took the appearance that he was watching the outside landscape. মানে ভান করলো যেন বাইরে দেখছে কিছু, but actually he was not able to see. I heard the panting of the engine, the rumble of the wheels, and in my mind's eye I could see telegraph posts passing by. The narrator could not see anything outside, but he could hear the panting of the engine. Panting means gasping. ইঞ্জিনের যে আগেকার দিনে সব স্টিম ইঞ্জিন ছিল না, সেই শব্দ প্যান্টিং। অ্যান্ড দি রাম্বেল অফ দ্য হুইলস, খটাখট শব্দ, rattling of the wheels of the train. And in mind's eye he could see the telegraph posts flashing by. And telegraph posts were passing with the flashing of the light of the train. These were remembered by the narrator. He could not see them, but he could understand that this was happening, that kind of sound was coming to his ears. Have you noticed, I ventured, that the trees seem to moving while we seem to be standing still? Have you noticed, I ventured? That means the narrator got the courage to ask a question. Have you noticed that the trees seem to be moving? This was a childlike question. While we seem to be standing still. যখন আমরা দাঁড়িয়ে আছি তখন ট্রেন গাছগুলো ছুটে যাচ্ছে দেখছেন, আপনি কি লক্ষ্য করেছেন? That always happens, she said. The girl remarked that usually happens whenever we go through a vehicle, especially train, bus, etc. It seems that the trees are moving and we are still, but actually the opposite happens. গাছগুলো স্থির আছে আর বাস বা ট্রেন চলছে, but being absent minded it appears to us, we have the apparent vision that the trees are moving. And this was a childish remark the narrator made, and then the girl remarked that this usually happens, that the trees are moving. Do you see any animals? The girl asked this question. No, I answered quite confidently. I knew that there were hardly any animals left in the forest near there. When the girl asked if he could see any animals on the hilly part of that landscape, then the narrator confidently answered that there was no animals. Because though he did not see, his answer was with confidence, because he knew that at that time there was no animals are found on the hilly regions. I knew that there were hardly any animals left in the forest near there. পয়েন্টটা বুঝতে পেরেছো তো? না পারলে বলবে, আমি আবার বাংলাতে যেরকম বলে দেবো। I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while he sat in silence. After giving the answer to the girl question, the narrator turned from the window. জানলার দিকে এগিয়ে গেছিলেন, জানলা থেকে সরে এলেন, এবং and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. After turning from the window, the narrator faced the girl and sat for some time. This was very awkward, odd, but he did so. The narrator did so. This is the typical feature of a male person or male passengers. And after that he made the remark, very dangerous remark. You have an interesting face, I remarked. Underline the line. I am becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. This remark about the girl's beauty, especially face, was very dangerous or bold remark. But the narrator has been quite familiar with her, with the girl passenger, so he made this remark, and he called this as a safe remark, নিরাপদ মন্তব্য বলে মনে করল। Few girls can resist flattery. There are very few girls who can stop hearing other people's praise for him. Flattery means বাংলায় বলা হয় তোষামুদি। If girls are praised for their beauty, most of the girls enjoy it. They cannot stop others to make such praise. এটা ন্যাটো জানতেন। দিস ইজ a knowledge of about the psychology of the girls. Do you know it? Do you support this remark?
হ্যাঁ স্যার করে, মেয়েরা করে।
কি করে ওরা? প্রতিবাদ করে?
না না, মানে শুনতে ভালোবাসে।
হ্যাঁ, good. You have got the point. The narrator has made that very point here. He laughed a pleasant, a clear, ringing laugh. When the narrator made the remark that you have an interesting face. After listening to this remark, the girl laughed, and the laughter was, or the laughing was a very clear, ringing laugh. ঝনঝনানি হাসি, খুব সুন্দর হাসি। মেয়েরা যাতে মোস্ট অফ দি গার্লস হ্যাভ সুইট voice, and when they laugh, the sound of their laughter or laughing becomes pleasing to our ears. So here the girls made a very pleasant sounding laugh. It's nice to be told I have an interesting face. I am tired of people telling me I have a pretty face. When the narrator remarked that you have an interesting face, the girl appreciated it, and then he remarked that many people praise him, that saying that she had a pretty face. That means the girl admitted, the girl enjoyed such remark. You are a very gallant young man, she said, but why are you so serious? The girl again made a remark. Listening to the narrator's praise, the girl remarked that you are a very gallant young man, you are a heroic young man, but why haven't you disclosed your such a pleasing attitude? You seem to be serious person. তোমাকে সিরিয়াস পারসন বা গুরুগম্ভীর লোক বলেই মনে হয়। I thought then I would try to laugh for her, but the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely. Listening to the girl's remark that the narrator was a serious one, he tried to laugh, but the thought of laughter, he could not laugh according as the girl wanted to be light-hearted instead of being serious. Then the narrator could not laugh, because laughing in that case seemed to be very odd to him. We'll soon be at your station, I said. The narrator was very much familiar with the station, and when such a romantic, half romantic situation was going on, the narrator reminded that the girl's station, that means Saharanpur, will come soon. Thank gods it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. At this, the girl passenger remarked that he was very pleased for this short journey, because he cannot stay long in the train. I cannot bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. Yet I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time, just to listen to her talking. This is the narrator's attitude now. The narrator was so much captivated by the sound beauty or the talking of the girl, that he was ready to sit in that train for a long time to listen to the girl's talking. because he was unable to enjoy the beauty of the girl as he was blind. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. Earlier we have got the sentence, he laughed pleasantly, a clear ringing laugh. Here it has been mentioned that the girl's voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. Mountain stream means pahari jharna. The mountain streams, while flowing from top to down, bottom, then there is a sweet sound, and that sound have also some beauty. The narrator has compared the beauty of sound of the girl's song with that of the mountain stream. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter, but it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. The narrator realized that their encounter, their meeting may not stay long, but the girl may forget the memory of the meeting, but the narrator was confident that he will remember this after the end of the journey, even after the end of the journey. That this remark shows that he was very much pleased with the girl's appearance, the girl's presence in the train. Her laugh, her words have pleased him, though he was not at all enjoy the physical beauty of the girl. The engine's whistle shrieked, the carriage whistle changed their sound and rhythm, and the girl got up and began to collect her things. As the narrator hinted that Saharanpur was coming soon, the engine reached with the shrieking sound. Korkor shabdo kore korlo, and the carriage wheels changed their sound as it happens during the stopping of the train, and the girl then got up and he began to collect her things. I wondered if I wore her hair in bun, or if it was plaited, or perhaps it was hanging loose over her shoulders, or was it cut very short? This is a very interesting remark about the girl's hair. This shows that the narrator was very much pleased about it, about the girl's beauty. As he could not see her with her physical eyes, he thought that he had some curiosity or doubt that the girl wore her hair in bun. That means they were bind with some sort of ribbon, etc. If it was plaited means biruni kora. If they were arranged in some particular way, perhaps it was hanging loose over her shoulders. If they were not bun in bun ke বাংলায় বলে খোপা, আর প্লেটেড মিন্স যেটাকে ওরা কি বলে জানো, গুছি করে রাখা, যেটা ওই যে লম্বা করে ওরা প্যাঁচ দিয়ে বাঁধে না, হ্যাঁ, or if they were, her hair was not plaited or in bun, they were loose, and loose hair no doubt falls on the shoulders. And he also imagined that her hair may be very short, then there will be no falling on her shoulder. This was the thought of the narrator about the girl's hair. As he could not see the actual position of the state of the girl's hair, he made such remark. The train drew slowly into the station outside, and there was the shouting of porters and vendors and high-pitched female voice near the carriage door. That voice must have belonged to the girl's aunt. The train drew slowly into the station. That means the train reached the station, and outside there was the shouting of the porters and vendors. Vikreta, hawkers were making some noise, and in the midst of that noise, the high-pitched female voice could be heard near the carrier's door, near the door of the compartment. That voice must have belonged to the girls. The narrator has remarked that the a woman's high-sounding voice no doubt belonged to the girl's aunt. However, the girl bade goodbye to him. Goodbye, the girl said. She was standing her very close to me, and close, so close that the perfume from her hair was tantalizing. This is a very interesting remark. The narrator or author was very much pleased with the girl's hair. First of all, he gazed about the state of the girl's hair. Now, he has enjoyed something very pleasing with her hair. There was some perfume in her hair, and she was standing so close that the narrator could enjoy it. It was tantalizing, very pleasant. Tantalizing means খুব মধুর বা সুন্দর. I wanted to raise my hand and touch her hair, but she moved away. Only the scent of her perfume still lingered where she had stood. This is a very dangerous thought on the part of the narrator. The girl's perfume in her hair pleased him so much that he thought to touch her hair. মেয়েদের চুল স্পর্শ করা খুব ডেঞ্জারাস থট. The narrator was so much pleased that he thought about it, but he did not have the scope to do that because the girl moved away very quickly, and his desire to touch the girl's hair remained unfulfilled. তার ইচ্ছাটা পুরো অপূর্ণ থেকে গেল. But the sweet perfume of the girl's hair was still there. There was some confusion in the doorway. A man getting into the compartment stammered an apology. Then the door banged and the world was shut out again. I returned to my berth. The guard blew his whistle and we moved off. Once again, I had a game to play and a new fellow traveler. This is the change of scene of the story. After the girl had got down from the train, a man got into the train, and he was possibly he was a new male passenger. And after his entrance to the compartment, the door was shut down and he returned to his berth. The guard blew his whistle and we moved off. Once again, I had a game to play and new fellow travelers. That means the narrator again tried to conceal his blindness, and he thought that there will be a new game with that new passenger. The train gathered speed, the wheels took up their songs, the carriage groaned and shook. I found the window and sat in front of it, staring into the daylight, and that was darkness for me. The train again started after its stoppage at Saharanpur, and the narrator evidently wanted to show his blindness from the new passenger, male passenger, and he looked outside, but it doesn't mean to him, it was only darkness to him. So many things were happening outside the window. It could be a fascinating game, gazing what went on out there. There are various things that was happening, that as it happens when you go by a train or bus, there are many things are seen outside. In this case, this also happened. The man who had entered the compartment broke into my reverie. Underline this sentence, reverie. Reverie means daydream. The narrator was thinking about the girl, thinking about enjoying the tantalizing perfume of the girl, and at that very moment his reverie or daydream, underline the word reverie. Reverie means daydream. It broke by the question, there must be You must be disappointed, he said. I was not nearly as attractive a travelling companion as the one who just left. The new passenger, male passenger, remarked that he was not an attractive travelling companion to the narrator hmm, and that would make him disappointed. This was the remark of the male new passenger. She was an interesting girl, I said. Hmm. Can you tell me, did she kept her hair long or short? Note that the narrator still is thinking about the girl. So his first remark about the girl to the new passenger was that she was an interesting girl, and he asked him about the girl's hair, whether it was long or short. I don't remember, he said, sounding puzzled. It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair. She had beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her. She was completely blind. Didn't you notice? I don't remember, he said, sounding puzzled. The narrator, male passenger, new passenger, remarked that he couldn't remember whether the girl's hair was long or short, but he has noticed, he could remember that the girl had beautiful eyes, but those eyes were of no use to her, because the girl was getting down from the train in such a way that proved that he was blind, and this was discovered by the male passenger, and this was also disclosed to the narrator. She was completely blind. Didn't you notice? হ্যাঁ, সে ছিল পুরোপুরি অন্ধ, এটা আপনি দেখেননি। তার মানে the last sentence or last part of the sentence was very revealing, because the new passenger appeared and disclosed the wrong idea about the narrator, that the girl could see everything she was doing. Actually, the girl was also not watching or seeing what he was doing. So this is the unexpected or thing on the part of the narrator. এটাই হচ্ছে narrator কাছে অপ্রত্যাশিত ছিল. He thought that the girl could see him, and he also suspected that he could not see. ঠিক আছে, আশা করি গল্পটা মনে থাকলে তোমার উত্তরগুলো দিতে সুবিধা হবে. পড়বে পড়াশোনা করছো না, অ্যাটলিস্ট আর দুটো টেক্সট তো ভালো করে পড়ো, তিনটে তো আছে, আর কবিতাতে কম পড়ে বেশি নাম্বার পাওয়া যায়. কিছু বই টই থাকলে ওগুলো থেকে একটু প্র্যাকটিস করবে, ঠিক আছে? এটাই হচ্ছে একটা, টেক্সটগুলো পড়লে ওই এদিক সেদিক করে ঠিক পাস করে যাবে যদি পরীক্ষা হয়. পাস করাটা যথেষ্ট নয়, এবার যদি সত্যি পরীক্ষা হয় মহা বিপদ আছে. ঠিক আছে? থ্যাংক ইউ ফর অ্যাটেন্ডিং মাই ক্লাস.